Good day everybody, Graehl here, and today we're going to be trying something a little different. I wanted to address a few things concerning tanking in Final Fantasy XIV, and some of the anxiety that comes with doing it. So this is going to be more of a commentary type video as opposed to a guide, where I'm just going to share my thoughts with you, and hopefully encourage you to pick up tanking or at least see it in a better light. The footage used in the background is from one of my takes for the Somal Hard guide video that you can also check out on my channel. And I will be referencing it a little bit as we go along, so you can take note of the decisions that I make on the fly, depending on how the mobs behave, how the players in the party behave, and just generally how things tend to go in a dungeon run. So, one of the first things I'd like to mention is that as a tank, you become the leader of the party by default. There's no way around that. This is probably one of the most daunting aspects of tanking, since not everybody copes very well under the pressure of leadership. But the flip side is that Final Fantasy XIV has a very welcoming and friendly community. Chances are, if you step into a dungeon and you're willing to put your best foot forward, just let them know that this is your first time, you're going to be doing your best, and if they have any tips, feel free. This is really all it takes for the other players in the party to see you in a completely different light. Your number one mortal enemy, if you're trying out content for the first time, is silence. If you don't mention anything, the other party members will just assume this is just another daily run for you. Which, in case something goes south, the first one to take the blame will probably be you. Things are only going to get better and easier from this point onward. Once you've beaten the content, once you've finished the dungeon or duty, you already know what to do next time. Let's move on to some of the basic tips and tricks that you can employ while tanking, regardless of what type of content you're running. One of the first things that you want to keep in mind is that, as a tank, obviously your priority is to make sure that the enemy's focus is on you. We take this a little step further, and when you're tanking monsters, just make sure that they have their backs facing the rest of the group. So the boss or the monsters or whatever you happen to be tanking at the time would be placed between yourself and the rest of the party. This kind of practice is all manners of good stuff because it prevents frontal cleaves from hitting the rest of the party, and it also exposes the backs of enemies to positionals from other party members. It's also extremely important to make sure that you keep the monsters standing still as much as possible. What you're seeing here is a bit of a bad example concerning this because the monsters in this dungeon happen to have really big hitboxes, and so it is difficult to properly position them. Now, as we move on, I'd like to make a mention about the usage of defensive cooldowns. This is just one of the things I don't see enough tanks doing. Defensive cooldowns shouldn't only be used for tanking bosses or tank rushes. They should be used when you're expecting a higher stream of incoming damage. And of course, this includes trash pulls, especially trash pulls, because of the higher number of enemies that you will be tanking at the same time. There is no need to go crazy stacking cooldowns, but do make a healthy habit of using low cooldown defensive abilities such as Rampart, Shadow Skin, or Inner Beast. 9 out of 10 times, the healer is sure to notice how much easier it is to heal you over other tanks. In conclusion, tanking is one of those things that you get better as you practice. The more you do it, the more you will learn about your interactions with the other party members, their jobs, and how to better assist them. You will learn about the general behavior of mobs and how to respond to unexpected situations. It all comes with experience, but I would say tanking is less about the destination and more about the journey. There is definitely a sense of true satisfaction that comes with leading a party efficiently and safely through a duty. Something that is generally difficult to manifest when you're playing a different role. So I urge you to go pick up your sword and board, your great sword, or your two-handed axe, and go tank a few things. It needs to start somewhere, and things are only going to get better as you progress. This has been Graehl, and I hope you give tanking a shot.